everyone. I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Christine Strauss, and this is The Real Deal with Baird & Warner, where we cover all things real estate.
For buyers, sellers, renters, investors, and fellow agents. Before we introduce our guest for today, let's take a quick look at this weekend's market activity and make sure to stay tuned for the end of the episode to see what's going on in the mortgage world. So on the listing side this weekend, unfortunately, we saw another decline in total amount of listings on the market. That is the opposite of what we want. We want to see more homes on the market for those buyers. Unfortunately, and typically this time of year, we kind of see that drop anyway, but we were already low to start with, so not ideal.
Right, absolutely. And so again, on the buyer side, we saw a little bit of that, kind of copycat of the listings. The buyer activity was also lower this last weekend too. And if you look at where we were trending this time last year, it's actually pretty similar to where we were at. So, again, we had some of that lower inventory and lower buyer activity. Yep. So we're on the low side both ways this time.
Coming back down to earth a little
bit.
We welcome you back to our new series, a series within a series, within the Real Deal realm, dealing with family members in real estate. Now, it's very common to have family members working together in real estate. We have a lot of them in our office alone, and we just want to hear about their stories, how they got started, and what that dynamic is like.
Today we are excited to welcome Margaret and Michael Placko from the Pickens and Placko team. So thank you guys so much for being here with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, yeah, we really appreciate it, and we are so excited to hear all of your great insight about this family dynamic within a team, some pros and cons, all of that good stuff. So we are just super pumped to dive right in and talk about that. So tell us about how you each got into the industry, if you have any fun stories to share, and maybe if there was any persuasion joining the family team together.
Well, you've been in it longer, so why don't you go first?
Okay. I had a really good friend when I was growing up whose mother was a realtor.
Okay.
And she was a very successful realtor in our town, and I always just admired her, and she made it look fun.
Great.
And after I got out of college, I was in a career that was not as much fun.
Sure.
And so I always thought about Pat in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working for a company that was going to be severing people over a period of time.
Got it.
And so I decided that was the perfect opportunity for me to go get my real estate license, which I did. And the day I got it, I went into my boss and said, would it be possible for you to sever me? Because I knew that I would get a nice package
Sure.
that would carry me through the beginning of my career.
Got it.
So I was very blessed, and
Yes,
that's
yeah.
how I got started.
That is great. What a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this all happened before I was born, so I pretty
Sure.
much grew up real estate adjacent with
Right.
her in the industry, but I never really considered it too much for myself. I went to
Sure.
college,
Yeah.
had a job at a marketing agency for
Okay.
a while, probably about 5 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't kind of what I expected things
Yeah.
to be. I wasn't enjoying it. I was
Sure.
looking
Yeah.
for some sort of change, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what. So I was kind of starting to look around at different jobs and what
Mhm.
could be an option. And that was really the first time that she mentioned maybe I should look into real estate.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do it right away or
Sure.
even anything like that, but after sort of looking at some options, I started to consider it a little bit more and thought it might be a good fit. And
So she kind of planted the seed a little bit.
yeah, a little
And
It
bit.
took a little bit to grow.
Was
It
trying not to
definitely-
get too excited.
Yes.
Understandable.
Yeah, but so after a little bit of time, I tried it out. I did the classes and got the license and been
rest
doing
is
it ever
history.
since.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here you are now.
Yep.
So what was it like? Your mom had a successful team going already. What was it like joining a team that was already doing such great business?
Right.
I mean, for the most part, it was very exciting. It was very positive. It was very helpful for me, mainly.
Right.
During your real estate licensing period, they give you a lot of information about laws and things like that,
Sure,
but not
yeah.
as much about what you need to actually do to run a business. So
Right.
coming into a team that was ultimately very successful already was really just very helpful for me
Yeah.
from a knowledge base and getting help from both her and our other partner Holly that have been doing it for so long and at such a high level. So really it was really, really helpful. A little bit of pressure also coming in and
Yeah, sure.
wanting to provide something to the team, not just sort of
Right.
like leech off them, especially since
Yeah.
it's my mom, but
Yeah, sure.
actually feel like you're providing some value to the rest of
Yeah.
the team. So some pressure there, but ultimately just really, really positive having
That's awesome.
the sort of the backing from everybody else, especially just
Definitely.
getting started.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that was really nice for us with him being a different generation.
Yeah.
He has a whole skill set that we did not have. So
okay.
he really did bring something to the team that we were lacking. So that
Sure.
was awesome.
That is really great.
Awesome.
Well, that sounds, I mean, those both sound like great pros to kind of teaming up and being that family together. Any other pros and cons that you want to share about this whole family dynamic within the team and being in the real estate industry?
Well, on the personal side,
Yeah,
it's very easy when you get together to want to go to the workplace.
sure.
And I try very hard not to bring up work when we're there as a whole family,
Right.
because we need that time as mother and son and not partners.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, another positive, obviously we do get to spend a lot of time together. I talk to her
Yeah.
pretty much every day, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't have a relationship with that amount of frequency or
Right.
anything like that. So it's been a big blessing for us, and
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
nice.
That's really great.
Yeah, that's
And it's
Awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like them.
Well, that always helps.
Yeah, that works out.
Yeah.
That works out. So what advice would you give family members that are thinking about joining a team together that may not have done it yet? They're on the fence thinking about it. What advice would you give them?
Talk a lot
Yeah.
about everything that could potentially happen.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then from my perspective, if you're thinking that your relationship can withstand it,
Mm-hmm.
all the difficulties and things that come with it, you probably can. But if you're thinking, I don't know if this is really going to be a good fit for us, it's probably not going to be. So,
That's fair.
yeah, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're
Right.
probably right about
Yeah.
whether this kind of relationship will work for you.
Good.
That's a good piece of advice.
I think that's probably the most important piece of advice that we
Yeah.
really good to keep in mind. Well, again, Margaret and Michael, thank you so much for being here with us and just for sharing this great insight on this whole family dynamic within teams in this real estate industry. So we
Thank
just
you.
really appreciate
Yes,
your
thank you.
insight.
You're welcome.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us.
And before we let you go, where can we find you on social media?
We're both on Facebook and Instagram at the Pickens and Placko team, and I'm also on Instagram with Michael Placko Homes. So
Perfect.
Awesome.
Good. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks
Thank
again,
you.
guys.
thank you.
Now a word with Chris Patras from Key Mortgage with our weekly Mortgage Minute.
Hello, this is Chris Patras with your Mortgage Minute. Today what I'd like to talk about is closing costs for your mortgage. We've talked about pre-approvals in the past and that process, and I wanted to let you know part of the pre-approval process should be your lender reviewing with you not just the amount you qualify for in your monthly payments, but also your cash needed to close. You are not only responsible for your down payment, but there's closing costs associated with purchasing a home. There are lender charges, there are third-party charges, and there might be transfer taxes as well. You are also responsible to insure your new home for the first year. So it's very important that you work with a lending partner that will disclose all of those items to you as accurately as possible. So not just the lender fees, but all fees involved. So again, items to think about and to shop for are your lender costs. That will be maybe a third to 25% of your closing costs. Then there's third-party items that are required, such as an appraisal, a credit report. If you choose to use an attorney, that's an additional fee. Title insurance is also a big part of your closing costs. And if you're not working with a local lender that's familiar with our local practices, you might not be receiving an accurate figure. So again, please work with a lender that will itemize those costs for you. so you know not only what your down payment will be, but what your closing costs will be, therefore your total cash out of pocket. Thank you for your time. Feel free to reach out at any time if I can answer any questions for you. It's Chris with Key Mortgage, 630-244-2058.
Thanks again to Margaret and Michael for joining us and sharing such great insight on what it is like to work with family members within a team within the real estate industry. It was super helpful.
Yeah, I was a little emotional for a little bit there. It was great to get that insight from them for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for joining us. I'm Kevin Bartlett.
And I'm Christine Strauss. Catch us next time to hear about
The Real Deal.